Welcome to the Brandon and Carlos Show. My name is Brandon, and this is my co-host Carlos.
Hey, everybody.
Today, we will be just hanging out and talking about what's going on in the world. As many of you all know, we are experiencing some very different times.
Unprecedented.
I don't think I've ever been through this sort of thing. And my wife always has this saying, just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean that it's never happened. Or what? No, she doesn't say that. She says, there's a lot of things in the world that we haven't experienced or something. But I think this is something that I'm not laughing about the coronavirus, but I don't know, Carlos, maybe you do have to laugh.
You know what? I saw a meme the other day, and it was more so geared toward African Americans. It was saying just because we're making light of the situation doesn't mean we don't know how serious it is. We've been having to make light of our situation.
Yeah, that's good.
Since slavery.
That's good.
So
we know how to take lemons
and
turn them into lemonade.
Yeah. So
but
it's not that we don't understand the seriousness of it. Well, you know, some things you just gotta laugh to keep from crying.
Yeah.
Because if you really, I was talking to a few people this week, and basically what's going on is people are tired of hearing about the virus. Everywhere you go, you're hearing about the virus. Emails from businesses you don't even frequently go to.
Dude, my email every day, because I check it in the morning time when I wake up. Sorry to cut you off.
You good?
I have at least 10 emails. Like, this is what we're doing about the coronavirus to protect you. Like my credit card company, for example. This is what listen, for real.
I know.
First of all, who goes into their credit card office? I don't even know where my credit card company's office is.
Man, half of the time they are somewhere in South Dakota and North Dakota and stuff like that.
Man, but they sent me, like, this is what we're doing to protect you. And I'm like, what you can do to protect me is get rid of that balance. And that's what helped me out.
Well, you know, some utility companies are delaying cutting people off, for up to 30 days. So shout out to them.
Right. I don't play with them though. That's
of course not.
Yeah, that's paid in full. I don't let that
ahead of time.
I don't let that ride. But these are definitely some interesting times. Everywhere you look, coronavirus. Everywhere.
Yeah.
It's really affecting everything, everyone. The way that I think, Carlos, that this situation is going to cause the world to think differently.
In some respects, it already has. We have people who are able to work from home. We are starting to do things differently. And the thing is, once you get moving in that direction, it's hard to come back from.
Right.
To come back to things, normal.
Right. Like, for example, the church we go to, we haven't streamed, the online streaming. We didn't do that.
Right.
But I got a word from my pastor, like a text message and like, hey, we need to get this going ASAP, even this week. So that's why I sound a little groggy. It ain't the Rona. It's I'm tired because I've been up like every night trying to make sure the stream is okay. We did we tested it out a few times. Wednesday night we did the stream. They had Bible study. It looked good on my end, but it was jumping in other areas, like on YouTube and Facebook. And so I just been sleepy trying to do that. But think about it. Had it not been for the coronavirus, we wouldn't even have been streaming. And we're got a pretty decent sized church.
Yeah.
But pastor just didn't want to stream, but it's caused us to think like that. Now we done bought this equipment, so we're gonna use it. Wow. Pay for these streaming services. So now we're going to use it because after this is over with, and I hope that it's over with very soon.
Yeah.
Because we got a trip planned up. We go out to country once a year, you know, on family vacation, and I need this to be over with. But everybody's doing things differently. You know, on one of my jobs that I work, we, Starbucks, we have a drive-through only right now. We were doing where you could come in the lobby, but you couldn't sit down because they don't want you to congregate 10 or more.
Yeah, that's what are they calling it?
Social distancing.
Yeah, 6 feet between each other.
Right. And so they didn't want to promote that. They don't even let us on our breaks sit down in the lobby. We've moved the chairs, the tables, and everything. It looks like a warehouse in there.
Like renovation, huh?
Yeah, people come in and they're like, "Are y'all open?" "Yeah, we're open, but you got to get your coffee and leave." Like,
yeah.
Like,
when I was out delivering propane on, and this has been my first week where I'm out by myself. Usually, you get 30 minutes to an hour for lunch, but I can't pull up any place to go. My truck's too big for the drive-through.
Right.
They're not allowing you to come in.
Yeah.
So I'm up here stuck. I got to go to the convenience store, get some, energy snacks to try to make it through the day. And I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, man. Everything is changing. I mean, think about it. When somebody cough now, like before this, if someone coughed, you just be like, oh, I don't even think you would acknowledge that they cough. Now, if they keep coughing,
yeah,
you'd be like, well, dang, does he smoke or she smoke? Or something,
Yeah.
But now when someone coughs, it's weird.
Yeah.
Because, we think the best in people, but when you hear someone cough, it's like, do you got that Rona? And it's springtime. I think Friday was the first day of spring, right? Yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So, we live in the South. Allergies galore.
Right.
So a lot of the cough in this season might be from that. But everybody these are different times. The churches are affected.
You know what? This is like the 10th day without sports.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm feeling it because this time I'm usually, in somebody's bracket, trying to beat my cousins, trying to win a little money, anything, I'm just like, what's going on? I'm like, there's no NBA, there's no NHL, there's no MLB opening day. It's just unprecedented.
Yeah, nothing. Like I was out to eat last Sunday and I saw some videos. You know how in the restaurants they play like sports and stuff, and I saw basketball and I text Carlos. Remember I texted you and was like, I thought they shut down the NBA. He was like, they did. And I was like, why am I looking at basketball? He said that's pre-recorded. I didn't even, I'm not the sports guy, so yeah. I didn't know the impact that it really would have on you all.
Man, it's been crazy. The only thing that I really have enjoyed is you've been able to watch older NBA games, older playoff games from, the start of Jordan's career or LeBron's career, different things of that nature. And you realize that these players are special and those times were good times for ball. And it makes you miss it even more because right now they will be ramping up for the playoffs.
Right. Well, what about this quarantine?
Ah, man, they got different states that are shutting down. Illinois just called their state to shut down. The only reason you got to be on the road is to get, the basic need and supplies.
Right.
Other than that, you are not to be outside. And I believe New York has already adopted that, and Vegas also. And so they just added the whole state of Illinois.
let's see what they're doing here in Florida.
All right.
Oh, wow. This is interesting. All right. Aware TV, that's our local TV station down here, says Bay County, Florida. 3 people were arrested in Florida on Wednesday after violating Governor Ron DeSantis' order of not gathering in large crowds on the beach. Bay County Sheriff's Office says it arrested 3 people on the sandy beaches that were gathered for a house party, spilling out onto the sandy beaches with alcoholic beverages and in large numbers. They were in direct violation of both the governor's order concerning crowds and a local ordinance banning alcohol on the beach in March. Oh wow, they can't have alcohol on the beach. Deputies say that around 2:30 p.m., a deputy patrolling along the shore heard loud music and saw a large group of people on the sand and at the home of Surf Drive near Beach Access 18. Wow. They're not playing about this.
They are not. And
okay. I'm sorry. Before you say that, Governor DeSantis orders all Florida gyms, fitness centers, restaurant, dining rooms to be closed. That's what I was looking for. That's where we are right now. In the state of Florida, you all, we are up under, I guess, would you call that? That's a quarantine, right?
Yeah. I mean, because you can't eat inside restaurants. All the bars are closed. And this time of year, it's spring break. So bars are used to making, that's a $1 billion industry in this state, spring break alone.
Oh, I know.
So when you got the bars and stuff shut down, you're missing money. And not only that, though, but you have, we're both musicians and professional musicians. So now these professional musicians don't have anywhere to play.
Right. And we're going to talk about that more in depth a little later.
Yeah.
But for now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis issued an executive order Friday directing all restaurants and food establishments within the state to suspend on-premises food and alcohol consumptions for Florida. Not for Florida. For customers. This is in Florida, though. The establishments may operate their kitchens to provide delivery and takeout services. The executive order lifts the restriction that prohibits a special licensed food service establishment from selling packaging sales of alcohol for delivery. Take out consumption off premises, complying with executive order, and it gives all of this jargon stuff. But the executive order lifts the restriction that prohibits a specially licensed food service establishment from selling package sales of liquor. So are they saying that they're going to be able to deliver liquor? Alcohol sales to go with food that is pick up or delivered will be permitted, states ad. ID will be required for ordering alcohol. So wait a minute. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me people can order, like go to Chili's or not go to Chili's, but call Chili's and be like, hey, I need you to deliver me a margarita? Wow.
I mean, let's think about it, man. If alcohol was to be, I guess for lack of a better word, canceled, it would be the prohibition all over again. We would start having people making moonshine in their bathtubs.
Wow.
All over again.
Well, if they said you can't leave your house for anything, all the liquor stores would be shut down. All the stores that sell liquor would shut down because
World
of this.
War III, bro.
Yeah, there'd be some mad people. But you're right. So, history has taught us that humans love their alcohol, and we're going to find a way to make it.
Yeah. While I was right before I hopped in the truck for the first time to head out by myself to deliver propane, we had a meeting. And the meeting was about 2 hours long, but they were telling us about what AmeriGas has set up for this situation. Like if you were to come down with it, or you were to miss work for anything, as far as childcare or trying to, because schools are out. Schools are out to April now. In Indianapolis, they pushed it all the way to April, to the end of April, here in Florida, they pushed it to the middle of April. Some places are just already canceling the whole school year, like Kansas. They canceled the whole school year. But if you have to be out for any reason like that, they're covering you for 30 days. And I'm like,
covering you? What do you mean?
As far as like they're going to pay you if you have to be out.
Well,
and it's
say
not
pay.
Yeah,
that sounds a lot better than covering you, because covering you to me sounds like, oh, you stay at home, we'll have someone else work for you. But you're saying they'll pay you, and that's great.
They'll pay you, and that's without use of your own PTO. So,
oh wow,
yeah. And we also had to put these specialized things from the government into the truck, stating that if we got pulled over, that we can work, just in case that does come down for the state of Florida.
I understand.
That you can't be out for anything. That we have to deliver propane, because that's how people eat. That's how people run their businesses. That's how people keep warm. Not that you're gonna need to keep warm here in Florida, but
yeah. That's, gosh, everybody's just affected in some kind of way.
Yeah.
But they're saying stay in the house. The social distancing thing is that's interesting.
It is,
because we had Bible study Wednesday, and even though we had the live stream, we did have like a few people to come out for Bible study. And I've never, this is a pretty large church. Excuse me, it's my allergies, y'all. But people were sitting like one person per pew, and for social distancing. And Pastor went on that, when he was talking, he was like, if you see someone sitting that far away from you, they're not trying to be rude. They're just trying to practice, be safe.
Yeah.
It's affecting everyone, especially like you were about to say. And I wanted to wait to talk about that, because I did want to give it some more time, but let's talk about how the coronavirus is affecting musicians. No, all musicians are affected. You all know Carlos and I are musicians. We have a band called the Exclusive Collective Band. I feel like we don't talk about our band enough. We're going to change that. We're going to talk about our band more.
Well, what we're going to end up having to do, and what we're going to end up doing, is putting some content up on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook.
And we're going to get a web page, because we're going to talk about that later. I got some good news for you all out there in podcast land. But yeah, the corona's affecting us as it relates to musicians.
Yeah.
We had just landed a deal with a blues artist, the band that is. Mm-hmm. And the very first big show we were doing together got canceled. Yeah. It was supposed to be April the 4th. It was a big music festival in Mobile. Shut down. And matter of fact, the band hasn't even practiced since we learned that it was going to be shut down. Coachella, didn't Coachella get pushed back?
Yeah.
It did? What else musically?
Man, listen, concert tours. I was supposed to go to the Jill Scott. I'm hoping I will still be able to go to the Jill Scott 20th anniversary of her first album in June. But right now, as of right now, every tour is shut down. You can't play at the local bars. You can't, stadiums, none of that. You can't do anything. A lot of musicians, what they're doing to compensate is they're going on live like Facebook and IG, and what they're doing is they're giving personal concerts. Like Erykah Badu, she's giving a personal concert, and she is doing it from her bedroom, and she's allowing people to pick the songs in which she performs, and she's charging everybody like $1.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I was thinking about how a lot of the big artists should do like concerts, Because you could technically, because the band or the quarantine is 10 or more. That's what Trump said. Well, you could really get your little band together and do a show and like stream it on YouTube. Maybe that's something Netflix could do. Like a Netflix, it needs to be put together in a hurry, but
it's already been done.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're using YouTube, IG, Facebook, any streaming platform. I know Erykah Badu's doing it. I follow an indie artist named Jay Nova. She's doing it. A few of my favorite musicians, they have their own bands. They're doing it.
We might need to do it. That's a good idea.
Also, they're also giving lessons. They're giving like Skype lessons and lessons over IG, whether it's piano, guitar, bass, drums.
Right. That's something I think as a musician you should be doing anyway, because that's another stream of income.
It is.
That you can have. But according to BuzzFeedNews.com, this year's Coachella and Stagecoach music festivals have been postponed due to fears over the coronavirus outbreak, organizers said on Tuesday. Coachella was set to be held in Indio, California over 2 weekends from April the 9th through April the 19th. The star-studded lineup included Frank Ocean, Travis Scott, Megan Thee Stallion, and Lana Del Rey. Country Music Festival Stagecoach would have taken place later in April. Now, Coachella will take place the weekends of October the 9th and October the 16th. And Stagecoach will take place the weekend of October the 23rd. And our show over in Mobile, I think it's been rescheduled for May, I think. I gotta look at
look it up. I'm not real sure, but I will say this: it has forced people to be creative. You got the internet comedians, and they're putting out more content because they're not able to go anywhere. So they're getting back to their bread and butter.
Trevor Noah on the what's his show called? The Daily Show.
Yeah,
I mean he is hilarious.
He is. I love his stand-up.
But his IG, that's what he's been doing every day, is like his little show from his, well, not little show, he got a big show, but his show from The Daily Show. But yeah, I'm looking it up. Our show has been, I can't find it. I will let you know, because we'll have another, what am I trying to say? We'll have another podcast before the show anyway, and we can give a shout out to it, But
definitely,
but it's affecting us because we don't have any gigs right now. I mean, we can't, because if they shut down the bar, I mean, that's where we play, in restaurants and bars and bar mitzvahs and weddings.
And see, and can't have any of that. And we were talking about the higher up musicians because they're stuck, but the lower level musicians who make a living off of this, like, what is their backup plan? Like, I hope they've been saving money, because
well, as well as I do, musicians tend to be not too good with money, because we deal in cash, a lot of times, and you got cash and you spend it easier.
True. But
you're right. If that's something the government needs to consider too. Well, that's why they're doing that stimulus. I forgot about that.
I know that they said, in fact, that they would be able to do that, and they passed that bill. They're not sure about how much it would be for. I think the initial number was $1,000
per an adult, and then I'm about to find it real quick. 1 day ago. That's the most recent. Will be a day ago. Fires. Let's see. Okay. Forbes. They ought to know a little something about money, right?
A little bit.
All right. Forbes 2 days ago. The internet doesn't work that well in here.
No, it doesn't.
Sorry for the delay, you all. I'm trying to look up something on the internet, and in our studio, it's made out of concrete, so it's kind of hard to get internet in here. This story was updated at 7 p.m. March 19th after the release of Senate Republicans' proposed bill. Okay, according to Forbes.com. I'm scanning here because I don't want to read the whole article. Okay, stimulus checks are not a new idea. If you were working during the 2008 Great Recession, I remember that, or the 9/11 terrorist attacks, you might remember getting a check from Uncle Sam. I do. Okay, so how to get a 2020 stimulus check. The proposed 2020 stimulus check is going to be larger than the 2001 or 2008 incentives or initiatives. Congress is working out the final details of who qualifies and how much the check will be. These checks are a part of a larger $1.2 trillion stimulus package. The most recent proposal from Senate Republicans is that each adult could get up to $1,200. So $2,400 in the case of a joint return. Each qualifying child would add $500 to the amount. With previous checks, you needed to file a tax return in the prior year. For example, you had to file a tax return for 2007 tax returns to get a stimulus check for 2008 program. For the 2020 stimulus check, they would be based on a 2018 tax returns. Although the Senate bill contains a provision that a 2019 return could be used if you did not file a return for the 2018 tax year. That's a good reason if you had income in 2019 but not 2018. Say you're in college, say you're a new college graduate, to get your 2019 return filed. In 2008, there was an annual income limits that began to reduce the check amount for high-income households. The income phase-out was $75,000 for the 2008 checks. The 2020 stimulus checks under the Senate Republican proposal would have a similar income limitation that starts at $75,000. The amount would be reduced by $500 of the amount of a taxpayer's income that exceeds $75,000. For joint filers, the threshold will be $150,000. At the end of the income spectrum, some poor families would a minimum benefit of $600, a provision that has raised concerns from not only Democrats but some Republicans. How soon can you expect your check? It could be as soon as, it said it might take several weeks. And this is not a one-time payment. It's going to be a two-time payment, I think, is what I saw. But yeah, we're getting some money from the government for this thing to stimulate the economy.
Yeah, because that's another thing that we didn't talk about is how the stock market has just, man.
Whoa, you're right about it.
It's
every day it plunges. Yeah.
And I was talking to one of my coworkers. He's set to retire in the first week of April, and he was talking about how he's already lost 30% from his 401k in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I think he did the math, and I think 30% equated to like $60,000 that he just lost in 2 weeks.
It dropped. The NASDAQ composite index dropped or changed negative 271. S&P 500 negative 104.47. I mean, yeah, everything is just plummeting, and that's why they're doing that stimulus package to, put money back into the economy. Man, did you see Kenny Rogers died?
I did. R.I.P. to him, and prayers up for his family. He's a musical icon.
Yeah, remember him and Dolly Parton? He was 81 years old.
Yeah.
Do you remember Kenny Rogers used to have a restaurant?
I do.
They sold rotisserie chicken.
Yep.
And it was so good. It was so good. You'll walk in. For you all that don't remember it, let me paint the picture for you. You know I like telling stories. You would walk in. It was set up kind of like a fast food restaurant, you know. But you would walk in, and as soon as you open the door, all you would smell is garlic, parsley, and some other herbs. I don't know what else they put on it. I don't know the recipe, but you could smell this beautiful smell, and they had some of the best side dishes. But you would go in, and I mean, I was a child, but my mother would order like 2 whole chickens, and we would eat, you know, off of them for a couple of days. But they had this cornbread that had corn in the cornbread, you know, whole piece of corn. And the cornbread was that sweet cornbread, you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's what time is it? It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm talking about cornbread. But definitely rest in peace, Kenny Rogers. Do you remember any of his songs?
You know what? I'm not a very big country guy.
You can't Google it. I want you to, you know, you don't have to be a country guy to have known any of his songs. Well, I'm from Tennessee, so you know.
I mean, listen, I'm pretty sure if I really thought about it, I do know. Let's see. Most of his stuff that I probably would know, probably like from the 70s, probably 78 in there.
The Gambler.
Yep, that's like the main one that
that's
I would remember.
Yeah, because that was his, like, in 1978. That was his biggest, you know, hit. Well, that wraps it up for the Brandon and Carlos show. We will keep you all in our thoughts and our prayers.
Most definitely.
Humans, we're very resilient. We have survived so many turbulent times throughout history, and we're going to recover from this. We are.
Most definitely.
We got to live a little odd for a little while. So if your state has told you to stay at home, please stay at home. Wash your hands and do the things you're supposed to do. Go and like our Facebook page. That's it for the Brandon and Carlos show. Be well.